Cannonball has been seemingly busy during most of the Krakoan era, focusing on his family life. He did help out with the New Mutants near the beginning as one of the original founding members of that team, also made it onto the X-Men, being a candidate in the 2021 elections, but ultimately failed to be voted in that time and instead ended up joining the one-shot team Sunspot's Secret X-Men, which was of course made of all the people that didn't make the cut. He did ultimately get a place on the 2023 X-Men team, but when he finally does get that moment of glory, voted onto the 2023 X-Men roster, he's immediately killed off because 2023 Hellfire Gala happened. Rude. Hopefully we'll see some redemption for Cannonball following the fall of X, but honestly it's sad that he didn't really get his moment in the spotlight during one of the greatest X-Men eras I've yet to read. Well, I mean, at least at the beginning. Cannonball was not just a member of the X-Force, but has also been a leader of the team as well in the past. His mutant-based powers allow him to create energy which he can use to propel himself at super speed, allowing him to soar through the air at a target like a cannonball. Hence his codename. Cannonball. In the past, he's been shown to be powerful enough to beat powerhouses like Gladiator. Pretty impressive. Which mutant with energy-based powers is your favorite? Let me know in the comments. Siryn, or Banshee, is Teresa Cassidy, the daughter of Sean Cassidy, the original X-Men hero Banshee. She initially though was completely unaware of her heritage, being raised by her cousin Black Tom Cassidy, who did not disclose that of course she was Sean's daughter till much later. Being raised by Black Tom, she started out as a villain but would eventually become a hero. Teresa would live through various ups and downs, becoming a member of the X-Force and during her time with the team both losing and regaining her superpowers. She is also well known for her time as a member of X Factor while she was still under the moniker of Siryn. Siryn, like her father, has immensely powerful vocal cords which allow her to do various things, including produce a sonic scream and of course fly. Fantomex is just really complicated when it comes to his backstory and his overall character, and well, kinda just everything is confusing about Fantomex. He has worked closely with mutants before, even serving as a member of 2 X-Force teams, and has even been classified as a mutant before, although from what I can see that's really only ever happened once. Everything else has implied that he is a mutate, not a mutant. However, he's also composed of 3 separate brains and kind of 3 separate entities, so it is possible that one of them is a mutant while others aren't, making him like kind of a sometimes mutant and kind of a sometimes mutate. Regardless, you don't need to be a mutant to serve on the X-Force team, despite it often being known as a mutant-based team. Basically, Fantomex is a mutant, I think, but also every time I actually have to go back through his history and reflect on this question, I find more confusion, honestly, than clarity. Anytime I have to look up anything regarding Fantomex, it's usually more confusion than clarity. Fantomex is often known for his many different and bizarre powers which involve his unique physiology, including his external nervous system, sometimes turned spaceship, sometimes turned sentient being, Eva, and his methodical, tactical, and technologically inclined cyber mind. And that's just to name a few. Pete Wisdom at one point led the X-Force. He is an interesting character who doesn't as often get talked about, but who is impressive in terms of his powers and what he's capable of. At one point he was romantically linked to Kitty Pryde, and when her ex Colossus saw them together, Colossus just went off. He attacked Pete, and while Colossus did royally mess Wisdom up, he held his own against the Goliath, also messing up Colossus in turn badly enough that he was actually considered to be in critical condition. Yeah. I feel like you know you're powerful if you can do that to Colossus. Pete's mutant power is that he can take in radiation and then use this to emit energy-based knife-like weapons from his fingertips. The knives are said to be as hot as the sun. Next up we're talking about Moonstar, also known as Mirage and sometimes even Valkyrie. Dani Moonstar is known for being a mutant and member of the New Mutants in the comics. Her mutant ability allows her to connect with other people empathically and summon up illusions based on their greatest fears and desires. Initially she could only really conjure up images of a person's fears, but over time she was able to harness her ability to also summon illusions of their greatest desires as well, and then even surpassing those skills, found herself able to conjure up neutral illusions from the minds of others that weren't attached to extreme emotional responses. Dani has also been a member, of course, of the X-Force team as well. Deadpool is so unstoppable, it's honestly a little bit annoying. He has actively destroyed the entire Marvel universe before, killing everyone in it. He was so determined to escape a world that he no longer believed was real. Deadpool is also an immortal being thanks to his healing factor, and for a while, honestly thanks to a curse that Thanos put on him. Yeah, true story. Deadpool was getting a little too cozy with death and Thanos didn't really like that. That's because Thanos has always had a thing for Mistress Death and is always trying to win her favor so that they can one day be together. Thanos has an unhealthy obsession with death, to be honest. So Thanos, when his potential future relationship status was threatened, decided to curse Deadpool so that he could not die. Therefore, he could not be with death, making Wade honestly even more powerful and also thereby preventing him ending up with death and keeping those two apart. Deadpool is probably one of the most well-known X-Force members we have, but I think there are still a lot of folks out there who underestimate him when it comes to his power levels, which is why he's here. I would say Wolverine is probably one of the most determined heroes that we have over at Marvel Comics. He is a master tracker and is nigh unstoppable when it comes to defeating whoever stands in his way, or when it comes to saving the day. And even when he ends up being brainwashed and used as a weapon, he manages to rise above that predicament, get free, and often get revenge. Even in alternate worlds where he has become Lord of the Vampires, he was able and willing to rise up to defeat his fellow evil brethren, even though he knew it would also mean his own death as well. That's how powerful and committed Wolverine is when it comes to heroics. He's just willing to do whatever it takes. Hence why he makes such a great addition to certain iterations of the X-Force. He's also virtually unkillable, well, I guess unless you drown him, but even then, Wolverine has actually fallen into oceans and then washed up miles off on like just another shore entirely unscathed. So for a man who can, you know, still be drowned, he does pretty well to make it out of those situations alive too. Somehow. Laura Kinney was originally created for the X-Men Evolution show, but she became such a fan favorite that she was quickly incorporated into the comic book universe as well. She first appeared in the X-Men Evolution show in episode 10 of season 3, titled X-23, and would later appear in the comics during the series NYX or Nyx in issue number 3 in 2004. X-23 was the deadly assassin clone of Wolverine made in a lab. She's called X-23 because she was the 23rd attempt at creating a clone of Logan. In the Logan film and in the comics, you can see just how deadly she is. Many even believe her to be a more successful assassin than her clone daddy, and it's true that even some of her mutant powers when compared to her dad's are superior. You know what they say, there is nothing like meeting your future self to make you regret all of your life choices. At least if you're Psylocke, you might say that. Psylocke is an amazing superhero most of the time, working with the X-Men and often an on-again, off-again team member of the X-Force. After meeting herself 30 years in the future in an issue of Uncanny X-Men, Psylocke realizes that her abilities combined with her determination turn her into one of the most ruthless women in the world, who is responsible along with the X-Force of stopping Apocalypse, and then continuing to eliminate potential threats the world over. Though the future X-Force claims, of course, that their actions are in the interest of the world's protection, Psylocke does recognize this as just what it is, straight up murder, and actually tries to kill her future self to stop it. Don't worry though, as with most time travel plots, everyone survives and it all ends up working out in the end. Domino is a character that I do not get to talk enough about on this channel, and so here we are. I think she deserves our #1 spot here because her luck powers are just honestly so insane. Basically, probability-based powers in general are pretty insane. There isn't much a person can do to stop Domino when she sets her mind to something. She's so lucky she can get out of almost any bind, and she can also usually flip the situation to her favor to boot. By the way, did you know that Domino's real name is Nina Thurman? Because it is, and what a bizarre name that is. Every time I think of Domino and I think about that, blows my mind in a way. That's about it. I'm your host Amanda McKnight. Until next time, you stay nerdy, YouTube.